Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, as you guys can probably see by the nice setup that we have here, we're going to be doing yet another video involving the famous $5 Windows 98 PC. Now, I have done so many videos on this computer. If you guys are a regular viewer of this channel, you probably know all about this computer. But in today's video, we're going to actually be doing something a little bit different. Instead of installing an unofficial Windows version or an old version of Windows, we're going to be installing a very early distribution of Linux. Now, we did this one other time with Caldera Open Linux, but today we're going to be focusing on the first ever version of Ubuntu Linux called 4.10. Now, the keen-eyed among you out there might have some questions about the name. Well, if this is the first version of Ubuntu, why is it version 4.10? Well, that is because that Ubuntu actually uses a bit of a different naming scheme when they actually name their versions, at least with the version number. They don't just start at version 1 and work their way up. They actually name their releases after the month and the year that they came out. So this one right here came out in October of 2004. So the 4 corresponds to the year and the 0.10 corresponds to the month. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. This video is brought to you by Hostinger, an affordable, all-in-one website hosting provider. Get 15% off on any of their web hosting plans by clicking the link in the video description. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off by actually, well, powering on the machine, and we're going to put this CD into the computer's CD-ROM drive right here. And I'm going to go ahead and actually focus on the monitor a little bit so you guys can actually see everything just a little bit better. And we are going to, it should be set up to boot right from the CD. We're going to see if it actually does that here. Okay, perfect. Check that out. So we're going to press enter to boot here, and it should begin to actually load the operating system. So here we go. Now, as I mentioned in that other video, in that little teaser video, I actually have used this interface before, but I believe that this, since this is the very first version of Ubuntu, it is actually, I don't believe there's like a graphical install UI. Everything is using the standard text-based installer. So we're going to go with English for the main language, and we're going to choose our location, which we're in the United States. We are going to, it should ask for a key map, the American English key map, and now it should detect all of the hardware. Now hopefully it will be able to find, it will be able to actually see the hard drive, because I believe that was the issue with the other machine that I was using, is it wasn't able to actually see the hard drive because it was a, I assume it was a SATA hard drive, which apparently this just does not recognize. So it should hopefully see this machine's hard drive and allow us to create a new partition on it. Configuring network, so this is what it did before. We don't actually need to do this. We're just going to hit continue. I don't remember the screen being red though. Maybe that's just me. We're going to go with Ubuntu, let's say 4.10 for the host name. Why not? And now it's going to detect disks and all other hardware. And setting up the partitioner, this is something that it did not do before, so that is, okay, perfect. So it's actually found the drive. Thank you. So it actually worked this time. So we're just going to erase, okay, so it has an ext3 partition now, which is what we want. So we're going to finish partitioning, and we are going to write these changes to the disk. And it looks like I have to plug in my camera, so let me go ahead and do that really quick here. Okay, so the camera's plugged in. It's not going to die now, so that is definitely a good sign. Right now it is creating the ext3 file system for this new partition that it's just created here, so that is definitely a good sign that, yeah, this was able to actually find the hard disk, because that was literally the biggest problem we had with doing it on that Dell laptop. For some reason, I thought this machine didn't meet the minimum system requirements, but it turns out that it does. I was just looking at the wrong page for the Ubuntu system requirements. So yeah, we're just going to let it install everything here. And in the meantime, I guess I could show you guys something pretty cool. I did a video on these like way long ago. This was actually, I might even have it unlisted. I don't even know if I still have it on my channel. So this release right here was the very first release of Ubuntu, and something that Canonical did, which is the parent company, basically, they not only offered this online as a free download, they also would literally ship you a CD of this operating system for completely free. They had a service called Ship It, and it's not around anymore. I believe that it ended in 2010 or 2011, but I actually used this very service to get the Ubuntu, Kubuntu, and Ubuntu server 10.04 LTS long-term support releases. This is what you would be shipped, and I paid nothing for this. I literally went online to this website. I believe this was the last version, by the way, that they did this with. But you could go online, to the website. You could pick however many. It was between these three, so I ended up doing, I think I did one where I got just these two, and then I did another order where I got this one here. And you just literally, put in your name, put in your address, and they would send it to you. It came from, like, the Netherlands, I think. So, I mean, they obviously had to pay a decent amount of money to ship it, like, around the world from, I want to say it shipped from the Netherlands. I still have the actual packaging somewhere. But, I mean, this honestly looks like something you would get on the shelf in a store. I mean, it's this just wonderfully designed packaging. On the back, it's got like a little slogan: explore Ubuntu, like it, install it, love it. When you open it up here, I mean, it's just a little standard CD sleeve. It tells you some information about the operating system. It tells you that you can, you have full rights to, copy this. You can share it with other people. The disc itself looks pretty nice as well. So yeah, I just thought that, this was pretty cool. This was kind of one of the things that made me want to do this video right here, is because I was going through some of my stuff and I found these and I was like, you know what, I want to see what the first version of this looks like. And I'm sure that you guys might want to see that too if you've, never seen it before. Maybe you tried out this version but never experienced the very first version. And yeah, it's the same version with Kubuntu or Kubuntu, however you want to say it. Very, very similar packaging, and Ubuntu server is a little bit different. It's a little bit darker packaging. It's not white on the inside. It's more of this brown color. Looks very cool. And yeah, the server disk looks very, very sleek and nice as well. So yeah, that is something that you're not really going to see a whole lot of anymore, is Ubuntu Ship It, physical CDs that they would actually send you. But yes, they did it with the very first version, and they did all the way up. I want to say 10.04 was the last version. Now, I would assume that most people, when they actually use these, when they actually went online, they would probably just download it from Canonical's website, but it was pretty nice that they gave you this option right here, like this physical, CD option. But hey, speaking of websites, if you guys want to actually make your own website, maybe you're thinking about doing that, maybe you're in the process of starting a new business or a new online presence, why don't you go ahead and check out this video's sponsor, Hostinger. Hostinger is an affordable, all-in-one website hosting provider with features to make hosting your website extremely easy. Don't have a website? No problem. Hostinger also offers a website builder and domain registration so that your new site can get up and running as fast as possible. They have multiple hosting packages to suit your budget and also offer cloud and dedicated VPS hosting for larger projects. With a custom designed control panel, Hostinger makes it easy to manage and configure your website. One of my favorite features is the quick app installation, which allows you to install software like WordPress or PHP-BB on your site in just a few clicks. Pricing starts at just 99 cents per month for a 4-year commitment. But if you want to save even more, click the link in this video's description to save an extra 15% on any web hosting plan. Alright, so we are back, and as you can see by the screen here, and you can't really see it because it's off camera, but the system has ejected the CD-ROM, so that is a good sign. And now it's telling us that we need to remove the installation media, and it wants us to actually boot the system from the hard disk. We're going to go ahead and press enter here, and now it's going to reboot, and hopefully, if everything goes well, it should boot from the hard disk. And maybe this next portion will be a bit more graphical, but like I said, I'm not 100% sure since I've never actually tried this out before. This is kind of my first time experiencing Ubuntu, so I'm going to kind of be doing this with you guys here. And yes, that is a good sign. So it's actually, you can probably see right there, it is decompressing Linux. Okay, now it's booting the kernel. Alright, so here we go. Now you can probably see that this monitor, this monitor has done this for some reason. It gets like really screwed up with the positioning. I'm not really sure what the deal is. Like it's just like it's just like oversized. I don't know. Like I mean, you can see that like when I go to the edge here, that's the edge of this one side, but it's like super. It almost needs to like be zoomed out. I don't understand this. Like, yeah, I don't know if there's a way to actually like resize. I mean, like you can resize the on-screen display, but you can't actually like change the positioning of the like make the image a little bit smaller, basically. So I've got it set up the best we can at the moment. Hopefully we can change some more things from the system options once we boot into it. But now it's going to, so this is the base system configuration, so we're just going to go through this. We're in the Eastern time zone. So this is going to ask you your pretty standard questions, name for the new user. We'll just put Michael. We'll hit OK. And username for your account. Can we skip putting in a password? Perfect. Okay, because I don't want to put a password on here. You seem to have entered nothing. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. You seem to have entered nothing for the password. That is not secure. Please try again. Okay. So we do have to actually enter in a password. We will put in MJD as the password, if I can type that correctly. MJD. Okay. I don't actually use that for my real password, guys, so don't try to actually log in any of my accounts. It won't work. Okay. Ubuntu provides additional software and timely security updates via the internet. These updates may be tracked each time. Yeah. So this is just, going to tell you about downloading software. We want to download software from the internet, but we don't have any internet connection at the moment, so we're going to just go ahead and skip this for now. Well, that definitely worked out. So this has definitely been much more of a success. I'm going to try not to like jinx myself here, because I've like had it before where I say this is going great, and then like literally 2 minutes later it spits out some fatal error that I can't like proceed as normal anymore. So but everything at the moment looks to be just fine. We'll see if it stays that way. So just so you guys know, the system requirements for this OS, you need to have an Intel x86 based processor. They do have some other versions or some other flavors of it that run on other platforms, including the 68K. Like the Motorola 68K, apparently they have a flavor of it that works on that processor, which I find incredibly hard to believe. And I was like, it just got me thinking. I was like, wait a second, can we run this thing on like the original Macintosh? But then I was actually looking at the actual system requirements that this needs, and well, obviously no, it needs 32 megs of RAM and 110 megabytes of hard drive space, which the original Mac does not have. It doesn't even have a hard drive. But apparently, if they're listing their stats correctly, and this was from the official website, now obviously it is archived now, but apparently it can run on the 68K, or at least a variant of it that's probably not like the one that the original Mac used. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I thought I was gonna like do some video of trying to like put this on my SE, which obviously is not really gonna work out very well. But yes, you can see that we're kind of just in a it's still setting up everything. We got a lot of text going on the screen letting us know what it's doing. And hopefully, if everything goes well, now this is again booting off of the actual hard drive. It's copied everything over correctly. So like I said, we are just kind of waiting for it to give us something to do. So I will come back once that happens. Alright, so I've resized, or not resized, I have readjusted the camera viewing angle here so you guys can hopefully see everything a little bit better. After a very long process of it, setting everything up, installing, certain packages, certain features, it is now done. So it comes up with this screen. Thank you for choosing Ubuntu. Setup of your Ubuntu system is complete. You may now log in. Okay, so we're going to press OK. And now it is starting the GNOME Display Manager. So now we should actually boot into GNOME. And it's going to, okay, so auto-adjusting, that's definitely a good sign. We'll see if the, okay. Yes, I remember this cursor. I think this cursor was used. It might actually still be used in Ubuntu today. I just remember that little loading cursor there. And check this out. This looks like super cool. This is, yeah, This is the first version right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and you can see there's this black bar over here on the side. I'm going to go ahead and reposition the. Oh, I guess it actually. Oh, okay. I guess the monitor fixed it for us, but I want to go ahead and move this over a little bit so that it is properly centered, which looks to be at 65. So we will do that here. And we're going to log in, so our username is, okay, no, I don't, exit, please. Okay, thank you. So our username is Michael, if I can spell my own name correctly. Password is MJD. And here we go. We are now logging in, so check this out, okay? We got our, it kind of reminds me of like a Mac OS, like an early Mac OS style startup screen there. Just kind of reminds me of that. But still pretty cool nonetheless. And here is our desktop. Yeah, it looks like in this version they haven't even they still have the standard like GNOME foot up here, like the standard GNOME logo. In future versions they have their own logo here on the applications menu, so that is interesting. A lot of these icons actually might be the standard GNOME icons, because I know this is not like normally this about Ubuntu is the Ubuntu logo, I believe at least. So maybe there's still some GNOME icons in here, because this is again the very first version of this OS that was ever released, and now it's definitely like one of the most popular, if not the most popular Linux distro out there. So yeah, but this is where that it got its start. So it comes bundled with Mozilla Firefox. This is, let's see what version this is here. This is Firefox 0.9.3, which is a very early version of Firefox. We're not even on version 1.0. So yeah, there you go. The mouse is, okay, it just kind of froze there for a second, but we're back. Obviously, we can't actually go to any websites. I wonder if we can go to, I wonder if they had the About Mozilla page in here. Yes, they did. So they still have the excerpt from the Book of Mozilla in here. Let's take a look at what actually comes bundled on this system. Right off the bat, you might notice a very, very nice feature that, like, Windows is just doing now with Windows 10. Of course, Windows 10 came out, like, what, 5 years ago. But we've got multiple desktops. That's what this little thing is down here. I can go ahead and say on this last desktop, I open up a game of blackjack. So if I have this game of blackjack opened up here, what I can then do is go to another one of my screens, one of my virtual monitors, and you can see by this little icon, you might be able to see, probably can't even really see it at all, that tiny little icon down there in the bottom. If the camera wants to focus, thank you. You can see, oh, apparently it just moved to the first it just moved to the first monitor. But anyway, so yeah, that little square there, actually if you move the window around, it will, you can see in the bottom there, it will actually move it around, so it actually corresponds to where it is on the screen. But when I change to a different desktop, now on this desktop you see there's nothing. So that is a very nice feature that not like it's unique to this OS or anything. A lot of different Linux distros did this, but it just took a while for like Windows 10 to catch on. So yeah, what we're just gonna do is kind of browse through this OS a little bit and, you know, just have some fun. I mean, this is, you know, kind of cool. I'm sure some of you guys watching this might have never seen this before. I personally, this is my first time using this, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump into it and see what we actually got in here. So first thing I want to do is go to the About screen. I tried to do this like when we first booted up and it didn't do anything. Okay, here we go. Oh, it tries to load. Okay, that's why the web browser came up. So it actually tries to load the Ubuntu website. So there's not an actual like built-in About screen like there is in some of the future versions, or in some of the newer versions rather. We do have a help tool. We have like a bit of a run command here where you can open this up and just type in a specific application. Go to my home folder and, you know, press enter, and it will actually open this up in the file browser. The file browser here looks pretty basic. There's not like a sidebar or anything. It kind of reminds me of like a Windows, yeah, and especially the fact that it opens up in multiple windows. It kind of reminds me of like a Windows 95 style file browser, because it literally opens everything up in a separate window, which is exactly how Windows 95 works. So pretty neat. So this is called Nautilus, I believe, is you know how you pronounce it. And this is the like GNOME file manager. So this isn't anything unique to Ubuntu at all. It's just a GNOME program, which I assume, kind of as I was saying, it looks like a lot of these in here are going to be that way. They're just going to be GNOME programs that Ubuntu just has in here. I don't believe they have, there's obviously no like Ubuntu App Store that, like there is today. There's nothing like that. This right here is the Gcalc tool. This is, again, another GNOME. I believe it's GNOME with the G prefix, and this is just from the Free Software Foundation. We have a character map, a dictionary, we got a text editor. We can open this up and see what this is about. So this is actually gedit. Okay, so that's another GNOME tool. Just your standard text editor. I don't believe there's like any Office suite bundled in here. Actually, yes, there is. Okay, there's OpenOffice.org. I totally stand corrected. So we have OpenOffice.org. This is probably an older version of it. Wow, this is OpenOffice 1.1. Man, so this is a super old version. Games, there's a decent amount. I mean, there's a lot of games in here. Actually, pretty much all of these are probably GNOME games. 4 in a row is actually a bit like Connect 4. So we'll just go to help here and about. So this is, yeah, GNext. This is another GNOME game. So we can create a new game, playing Connect 4 against a computer. So we'll just leave that kind of open there. Games, you can see there's just a whole bunch in here. We have Mines, Nibbles, Robots, Same GNOME, Stones. Tetravex is in here as well. There's a variant of that. Under graphics, we have GIMP. Internet, we have obviously Firefox with a pretty cool looking logo. Actually, I think that's just the standard like GNOME web browser logo. We have GNOME Meeting, which is apparently a meeting tool, a mail client, an instant messenger called Game, or I guess Name if you use the silent G, which is obviously a play on AIM. XChat IRC. Multimedia, we have a CD player, music player, a sound recorder, a movie player. This is probably just something like Windows Media Player. Yeah, so it's just your standard media player right there. Pretty cool. Office, we already took a look at. And system tools, there's probably going to be a decent amount of stuff. We got obviously terminal, a root terminal. We can make a new login. We can run something as a different user. There's a lot of actually very useful stuff in here. A bug report tool, configuration editor, system monitor. Go ahead and open that up here. So here's your system monitor. It obviously shows you all of the different processes that are currently running, how much memory that they're taking up. Very similar to like a Windows Task Manager or Activity Monitor on OS X or Mac OS. Very Task Manager-esque looking graph here. Showing you your CPU and memory usage. We can obviously go over to the computer menu. This is where you're going to actually be able to browse your file system, go to your home folder, change your desktop preferences, which there's a ton of stuff in here that we can change. Screensavers, sounds, we can change the theme if we want to. I wonder if there's any more bundled themes in here. Yes, there is. So there is the Ubuntu theme, which is the human theme, but we could also change this to the GNOME theme if we wanted to. As you can see, this is how that looks. It's also like it changes instantly. You don't have to actually hit apply or anything. That's actually very nice. We go with a traditional theme. So yes, there's definitely a lot of customization options right out of the box. There's a tool to configure Palm OS devices. I actually have one of those. I don't think I have it with me at the moment, but I do have an old Palm device. Maybe we'll have to actually try it on this system one day. But you can see there's just a ton of stuff in here. There you have it. That is a very, very brief demonstration and installation of Ubuntu 4.10 on the famous $5 Windows 98 PC. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, I just want to encourage you guys to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below if you want to see more videos like this in the near future. Also, be sure to drop me a comment down below with any, comments, questions, video suggestions, anything that you guys have to say. Be sure to leave it down below. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this video as well. Did you guys enjoy this one? Did you guys not enjoy this one? Definitely be sure to let me know down below, as I always enjoy reading what you guys have to say. And as always, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.